So we're streaming this live, but we're also recording it for tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Now this guy actually took my wife out and raced here, what, 5 years ago in the nudes. Richie Stearns, welcome to On the Water Anarchy. Your first time. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good, thanks. Very excited.
And you're sort of a legend in this whole community. I mean, you've won just about everything and all the J fleets, and you've been doing all sorts of racing for your whole life. Your dad, obviously, a Cup legend, right?
No, I've sailed the Cup. He's a starboater.
He's a starboat guy, and you sailed the Cup.
Yep.
All right. So you're in the J111 for the first time. You got 6 boats, I think. What about your race? I mean, we talked a little bit on the dock, but what about what you're setting up for based on that weather and what weather you've been looking at?
Well, earlier on, we were told that you could go to the East Shore, and going to the East Shore has always been historically a bad place to be. You know, as always, legend has it, don't get stuck on the East Shore. Played the Western Shore a lot,
right,
and with thermals and stuff like that, and that's a very comfortable.
The thermals are a lot better over there in general.
Well, they're usually, at least we know what they are, and we also know that there's a current that goes up the Western Shore, and it can go a knot, and when you get up to Milwaukee, it can run pretty good.
Really?
And usually in the middle of the lake, it's coming at you. So if it's light, you've got bad problems in the middle of the lake. Yeah. And so I don't like the middle of the lake and light because there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, yeah. So who's your crew for this one?
Well, we have 3 Stearnses. We've got my wife, myself, and my dad. And what's interesting, we were counting, we've got, the 3 of us have over 100 max. My dad's done 51, I've done 38, and my wife's done 17.
That's awesome.
So we're going to have a lot of, and then we have Paul Stahlberg, the owner, and Ed and Shannon Montano. And so we got, it's a nice crew.
How do you, I mean, you sort of, people are always asking, well, how do you get the families involved and get the, is this race a family race? Are there lots of boats that are full of families?
I think there are. I think there are people that, there's a lot of ways to look at it. And I look at races like this, and it's really more about the stories around the Thanksgiving table and having fun. And people get very, very serious about it. But you know what, in the end of the day, it's the stories of how much fun it was sitting around talking about the Thanksgiving table this fall. Yeah. And so family's fun. I mean, that's really the experience, having a good time doing the race. There's nothing better than that, and that's what's about sailing fun. I mean, what other sport can you go out with an 84-year-old grandfather and a 16-year-old kid and have fun and be competitive? I mean,
you think the boat works, the J111, as far as you works good for that? Are there enough jobs around for the little and the big and the old and the young?
Yeah, I mean, the J111 is a very simple boat. When you get lighter boats, they're very easy to sail, and they don't, a heavy boat, an old-fashioned boat, if you pull on something, it pulls back. And in a bigger old-fashioned boat, you pull on something, it pulls back hard and hurts you. And these boats, you pull it comes in, and which is nice. And so, no rope burns, things like that, because, it's just not that heavy.
You've sailed the boat a little bit now?
Mm-hmm.
Compare it to, obviously, one of our favorite all-time boats, the J125.
Well, the J125 is a fairly extreme boat, and it's very, very light. This is a pretty, this was designed to be a one-design family boat. And so although it seems to be very, very fast, and everybody says, oh my gosh, it's so fast and this and that, it was designed not to be a extreme racing boat. It was designed to be a family fun boat.
Obviously, the definition of a family boat has changed in the last 15 years to the point where you can have a pretty powered-up boat as a family boat, right?
Yeah, powered up and uncontrolled. I mean, this boat has a stainless steel keel. It puts all the lead down low, so the boat is although very light, is very stable. Yeah. Very stable. It's a boat like a J109 is 3,500 pounds heavier, and the riding moment is not. This is a stiffer boat.
It's not as pretty either. I've loved sleeping in a J109, but no comment from Richie.
Well, they're all pretty. They're different boats for different people. Different sailing.
They are. Well, you know what? It's pretty cool to see. People. There's obviously people complaining. Well, J Boats has. They keep coming out with a new boat, and why don't they just stick with this? But at the end of the day, you look at a fleet like this with 361 boats and 100 plus of them are J Boats. They're doing something right, and we're pretty excited to support the new 111.
Well, it's funny because someone asked Jeff Johnstone that when he was here, trying to push the J111, and he said, "Well, if you were in the boating business, how often do you replace a boat?" And they said, they didn't know. I mean, cars get replaced every 5 or 7 years. They come out with a new line. He says, "Well, we came out with a 35-footer 30 years ago. It was a J35. We came out with another 35-footer 20 years ago. It was the J105." And we came out with a 35-footer 10 years ago. It was a J109. He goes, "Is it too much to replace a boat every 10 years?" And everybody went, I guess not.
And that's what happens when you bring a marketing mentality to boat sales, and you end up really successful.
Yeah,
And
they have a new boat event every so often, but they still make the other boats. I mean, you still get a 105.
you still have your 92S?
I don't. It's up in Minnesota or in Lake Superior.
No, so does that mean you're boatless right now?
I took a J105 in trade for a J111.
All right, man. Well, hey, have a great time up the lake. We wish you all the luck in the world. And it's been great to meet you again all these years later. Yeah, cheers. All right. Bye.